more debt, more deficit spending at the federal level on a program that has been proven not to work.
Richmond, Virginia, of course. Sherilyn, on our independent line, you are on the air. Lynn Jenkins, a Republican of Kansas, is our guest.
Good morning. I'd just like to start by saying that I wish I could hear the Republican leaders in Congress stand up and say that the deficit that we're facing did not just pop up when Barack Obama took office. It's been going along for years and years and years. I wish I could hear them say this is not a problem that can be fixed overnight. It's going to take years and years for this problem to be fixed. I wish I could hear the Republican leaders, instead of always saying why what the president put forward won't work, and try to find some common ground on what can work. I mean, it's a two-party system. I'm tired of all the petty, if I can't have my way, then I'm not going to do anything at all.
Well, I may surprise Sherilyn, I think, from Richmond. The deficit didn't pop up overnight. In fact, that was the reason I ran. I think when Republicans had unfettered power in Washington, they blew it. They spent too much money. And then my first term here, Democrats had unfettered Washington, and they took the deficits that Republicans were running annually and made them a monthly deficit amount. So Republicans blew it, and now we find ourselves in a divided government. And, you know, now we're expressing frustration with gridlock. And so if it's any help at all, I agree. I think there is enough blame to go around at both parties for the mess that we find ourselves in. And you're right, it is not going to be fixed overnight. It took decades to make the mess. I believe it will take a few years to fix the mess. But what House Republicans have done is put out a budget that actually gets us to a balanced budget and eliminates the public debt over time. At least we have a plan to do that. The administration does not, and the Democrats in the Senate do not. And I hope, as you do, that we will work in the coming months to find that common ground. And there are those things, as we mentioned earlier, the free trade agreements. If the president is serious about regulation reform, if he's serious about tax reform, then we are in business.
Lynn Jenkins served as Kansas State Treasurer from 2002 to 2008, overlapping Kathleen Sebelius's terms as governor of Kansas, Democratic governor. This news from the Hill newspaper: 2 more health care reform lawsuits dismissed. After keeping the health care world on edge for months, the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals finally issued its ruling Thursday in 2 lawsuits over the health care reform law's individual mandate. So what did the court say about the coverage mandate? Hardly anything, really. The Fourth Circuit dismissed both suits, one from Virginia Attorney General Ken Cuccinelli and one filed by Liberty University, without ruling merits of whether the mandate is constitutional.
Well, what you didn't read was, my understanding is they were dismissed on procedural points. It had nothing to do with the actual case at hand. And so I think the last time a court has actually ruled on the merits of the case was in Atlanta, and they ruled that it was unconstitutional. So I think what we can probably be certain about is at some point the United States Supreme Court is going to be asked to rule on this, and I'm not a constitutional attorney, but I understand that there's a 50-50 chance it could be deemed unconstitutional. Now, House Republicans, of course, have already voted numerous times to repeal that and replace it with something that we think better addresses the issue at hand, which is the out-of-control cost in our health care system. And it is unlikely that that is going to change unless some faces change in Washington.
Have you seen your fellow Kansan out here since you both came to Washington?
I have.
Governor Sebelius.
I have. She was before Ways and Means Committee earlier this year.
And we have about 5 minutes left before the House comes into session. Tampa, Florida. Mary on our Republican line. Hi, Mary.
Hi, Representative Jenkins. I really need someone to help, even though the president has proposed this jobs stimulus thing. A big problem, I'm just sitting here wasting my life. I've been unemployed since May of '08, so I no longer get unemployment. I can't spend money. I can't save money. I can't pay my bills. The latter one, pay my bills, is very important because I have been turned down for so many jobs now because I have bad credit. And I know the three big credit agencies, the employer to run a credit report, but I never had bad credit until I lost my job. Now I'm just sitting here. My life is being wasted. I'm living with family and friends. I go to a gym. Someone gave me a gym membership, member of my church. I have a woman up there that I exercise with that's 87 years old. She works 2 days a week at a hamburger place. She gets a pension and Social Security. And I said, why do you work up there? And she goes, because I'm bored. And I'm like, well, wouldn't it be better to give, if you don't need money, why don't you give up your job to somebody younger that is getting nothing? I am getting absolutely nothing.
Lynn Jenkins.
She's expressing a frustration that we hear a lot, even in Kansas. I had a jobs fair in Kansas last week before we came back, and we had 1,100 people in Topeka, Kansas come through, just like this woman from Tampa, looking for work. And the thing is we had 1,000 jobs available from employers that had set up tables there. So I think the key is finding the right employer for the right employee and getting that match made. So I would encourage her not to give up. I mean, we can't give up. That's what Americans are made of. We just keep swinging, and if Washington will do its job, and that is create the right environment for private sector job growth, then we'll get this unemployment situation under control.
Esther, you have about 30 seconds. Democrat from Long Branch, New Jersey.
Okay, I'm going to try to do this very quickly. Thank you for taking my call. I just want to say President Obama inherited 2 wars that he didn't start. I don't know how much that is adding to the deficit. Also, we had a huge base realignment under the Republican administration. There are billions of dollars, I believe, over the estimated cost. I'd like to know how much that is contributing to the deficit.
We're going to have to leave it there. Lynn Jenkins, last comment.
Well, I appreciate you being here. Esther, I can tell you the Department of Defense budget is just 20% of the budget. Now, that's not the cost of the war. That includes everything at the Pentagon and within the defense budget. And, I think the President is going to be addressing that issue. Thank you for having me. We look forward to getting to work up on Capitol Hill to find the common ground that is so needed.
Lynn Jenkins, first-time visitor here to the Washington Journal set. Thank you for being on our show this morning. House is coming into session, and so we're going to go to the House as we always do live, and the Senate will be in session as well this morning.